After living in New York City for almost 20 years, I moved back to my rural town in Italy. I had my fair share of cultural shocks. Disclaimer: these cultural shocks are not inherently bad or good. They're my personal experience of being an Italian woman moving back in my own country after living in America for many years. So take it really as a personal thing and not a list of seriously good or bad things. Ciao everyone, welcome to my channel, The Extra Virgin Lifestyle. In this channel, I talk about extra virgin olive oil, cooking, Italian living, and what it means to have an extra virgin lifestyle. A lifestyle where you're true to yourself, you can live frugally, you can live in Italy or anywhere in the world. Are you interested in staying connected with your true self? So a while ago, I made a video up here where I talked about why I was living in New York City. But in that video, I didn't tell you what was happening next. What's happening is that I moved back to Italy. Coming back, I kept asking myself, did Italy change or I changed? Well, definitely I changed. And Italy changed as well. It's much more multicultural, it's much more Americanized and globalized. You can find McDonald's everywhere, some Burger Kings, you can find peanut butter even. Moving back is something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and then at a certain point, the stars just aligned. This is the best decision I've ever made because I deeply know this is exactly where I have to be right now in this stage of my life after all I've done and built so far as a older midlife almost woman. Even though I'm really happy with my decision of relocating to my rural town in Italy, of course, moving from a huge metropolis like New York City to the middle of nowhere in rural Italy, it's not a joke. First thing, time feels different. In New York, I was always on the go. Here, time seems to stop sometimes. Most shops are closed for lunch, and even post office or public offices are closed during midday. So yeah, first counterculture shock could be that everything is slower here, but you might just know that. Of course, comparing New York City with a rural town in Italy, it is going to be a slower pace. Personal space. People's personal space, it's a different concept here. This is very cultural. You would ask, but hey, you're Italian, you were raised there, didn't you know? Well, to start, I was never really somebody very touchy, very hands-on people. So definitely it's something that I never really enjoyed about our culture here. Second, living in the United States has made me feel better from that point of view because people have a different way to deal with social distance. Social distance in Italy it's this, in the United States it's that. So of course I got adapted very easily to that more Anglo-Saxon distance. Of course, it's not everyone. Some people are more physical, some people are less. I'm not just painting this picture that everybody's hugging you and kissing you and touching you all the time, but most people still are like that. Third major difference that initially has been a little tough is very few options for takeout. Well, you're like, okay, what do you expect? Again, coming from New York, where there's so many options all of the time, and yes, you cook, but also when you don't want to cook, you just make a phone call, go on Grubhub, and get your stuff coming home delivered. Here, there's less options. Definitely, there's pizza to go, and it's probably the main food that in Italy we do take out, but also there's fish cooking to be delivered at home, and now there's also a sushi place that it's a sushi Chinese fusion very good restaurant that does take out. So things are changing a bit here too, as I said about the globalization aspect. But yeah, it's not that anything you want is just a phone call away. That's definitely something to be mindful about. Another counterculture shock I had was dinner time. Dinner time here it's around 8:30, 9:30 p.m. It's something that I knew again, but I like the early dinner. It's something that I do here too. When you eat at home, it's not a problem to eat at 7:30. But when you go out with friends, I mean, the restaurant doesn't open before 8 o'clock anyway. So, and maybe with friends you tend to meet up at 8:30 or so or later. So, if you want to have a social life, you're gonna have dinner time late. It was definitely something the first couple of months I had to adjust to and plan accordingly. The punctuality factor. Sometimes I'm not punctual either. Although I became so much better, living in America made me become much more punctual. It's just the way it is here. Let's say you make a restaurant reservation. Even the people at the restaurant are not expecting you to tell them I'm coming there at 9 p.m. and they don't expect you to arrive at 9 p.m. They expect you around maybe 9:30, 9:15. I don't know, it's different. And then this was a shock because you come from a place like America, especially New York, where dinner it's becoming so insane, where people are reselling restaurant reservation spots, and if you don't go to your reservation on time, they charge your credit card like 20, 30, $50. I don't even know how much at this point. Another shock is that very few people make plans. Personally, I really love making plans, even if that plans maybe will change or shift a little. I had the same issue in New York City actually. People in general are becoming a little bit more flaky. People in Italy just like to go a lot with the flow, and it's also something nice. It's something I'm adapting to. Okay, this is another one, and this is a biggie. There's certain men here just stare a lot. Honestly, it's something that sometimes makes me very uncomfortable. And it's something that then I remembered, like, oh, that's how it is here. Coming back, living here, I have to learn how to live with again. Another cultural difference here is that you can have a huge amount of social life, an amazing amount of social life, especially living in a small town where you know a lot of people. There are a lot of events, especially during summer, and it's really good for social life, but it's also something that could lead to perhaps losing a bit of focus. So yeah, I used to be in this big city where it was so hard to strike a conversation sometimes and to have a real social life. Everybody's always working in America. But here I can go if I want out every day and meet old friends, old schoolmates, and have a drink at the bar every single day. It's something it's just stayed pretty much the same, and it's something I probably am taking a bit for granted, but I'm a little bit afraid of getting back into those habits. Although yeah, it's you can have a huge social life here if you want. Another cultural shock, which is not really a shock, is that here you are more exposed to gossip. There's the good gossip and the bad gossip. Of course, people are curious, people want to know, and it's normal here to have people that know you just because they know you since you're a kid asking you personal questions. I have to say though, a lot of people they really improved in that sense. They mind their own business much more. And also, this gossiping, it's not necessarily something that's done in a malignant way. But yeah, the gossiping, it's a slippery slope. I personally don't care much anymore about the gossiping. This is how I saw how much I've changed living in a big city. You can say whatever you want about me. I don't really care. And just don't do it myself because it's really a bad habit. But yeah, it's definitely a drawback of small town. I guess small town anywhere, not just small town here. Okay, this one is not a cultural shock. This is more of a beautiful thing that I rediscovered. Reconnecting with childhood friends, with people that are in your community, in your life, those people that you grow up with. It's just so beautiful to rediscover that warm feeling of having these conversations together. Sometimes I feel more of a foreign here than somebody that was raised here. I feel like I've changed. I feel like sometimes some words comes to me first in English and I cannot translate them in Italian right away. An idiomatic expression and it really comes first in English and then in Italian, and I don't know, sometimes you can't translate everything. Definitely America changed me, New York City changed me even more, but that's okay. It's an adjustment phase and I really do believe in having a rich cultural identity. It is what it is. Accepting your life, your experiences, things you did, things you become, the good ones, you keep them, the bad ones, you throw them out the window. Countercultural shocks are real, but are also a gift. It means I've grown. It means I choose now what I want to carry forward. I'm my own person. That for me means a slower pace, deeper connections, and a new appreciation for the simple joys of living here in Italy again. I'm learning to embrace the best of both worlds, taking that crazy energy of New York City and blending it with this space here. I've always been very fascinated with this theme of cultural contamination, and now I'm experiencing it firsthand. I would love to hear about your cultural shocks if you had them. And please, if you have anything to add, feel free to comment and share this video with somebody you think it's going to enjoy it. So this video really inspired me to make a video tailored to American citizens or Canadian or Anglo-Saxon people considering to relocate in rural Italy. What are the challenges for Americans and what type of tips I could offer? So stay tuned for that one. And if you like to cook or would love to learn how to cook, I wrote a cookbook with 15 quick and easy Mediterranean recipes with extra virgin olive oil. It is completely free to download and you can download it in the link down below. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.